All right, we are live, Cole. And right away, my cat knocks over everything. That's great. So let's take a look at these notes. So you want to get further in grand challenges currently, and you
Yeah,
have
I'd say
huh?
yeah, I'd say I average probably around maybe 8 or 9 wins. I actually usually go like undefeated, like 7-0 or something, and then it falls apart.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's because you start facing harder people as your record goes up.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Mm.
Uh, I usually find that grand challenges start to hit a point where you can't just blindly play it when you hit around 9, 10 wins.
Mm-hmm.
So around that area is when players are competent. And you say that you have a lot of trouble against Minor Rocket.
Yeah, that deck's been especially with this deck list, because
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
there's nothing that can really stop the miner and not get hit by rocket.
Yeah. We can just kind of take a look at deck. I think we can fix this deck list to
Mm-hmm.
be optimal here.
Mm-hmm.
We can talk about Minor Rocket in general and how to like think about the matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Minor Rocket against things like Pekka. I typically would say that Minor Rocket has the advantage here because by the time Pekka gets the push in that it wants, your tower
Mm-hmm.
is probably gonna be dead to like a Minor Rocket in the other lane, which
Yeah.
sucks. But I mean, I've still lost to this deck. I've still lost to this archetype. If they make a mistake, if you can punish well enough, if you can defend miners well enough,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's definitely a skill matchup. So it's not all lost. Let's see. So your deck list is Pekka, Executioner. You definitely need that. Bowler. Bowler's interesting. Electro Wizard, another interesting thing. Ice Golem is like your mini tank, good. Zap is interesting. Tornado is also interesting. Tombstone is your defense. Um, okay.
I mean, Zap's in there just because I hate Skeleton Army so much ever since I went to 3 Elixir.
Uh huh. At the moment, Zap is not good. At the moment,
Uh-huh.
Zap is outclassed by Log, so we can go ahead and replace Zap with the Log. Your deck has, well, your deck will have enough air defense without Zap. You have Log, you have Executioner, you have Electro Wizard if you decide to keep it,
Uh-huh.
and if you decide to keep Tornado, also you will have Tornado too.
Yeah, Tornado is very nice because, well, with the deck list currently, obviously Executioner and Bowler both have piercing attacks, so it goes through everything. Like it's bunched up. And on offense, if they try to like play an Executioner or an Electro Wizard, something like that, I can Tornado it straight to the Pekka, and it just chops it up.
Yeah, yeah.
But
So,
I've got no
oh,
if I have like a big push and I get them down to like 400, I can't spell cycle them out.
mm-hmm. It's probably the biggest weakness of your deck. Eventually, you have to just assume that your Pekka won't ever get to the tower because
Hmm.
you don't even have like a spell such as lightning or fireball to get through.
Yeah.
At the moment, you're seeing Pekka paired with lightning. You're seeing giants, golems all paired with lightning right now.
Hmm.
Uh, so if we talk about the cards that you would want to keep that you kind of need to keep, I would say Pekka you want because I feel like it is the win condition is the card that you sort of want to build this deck around, right?
Yeah, because it's a tank. It's not weak to Executioner, and if I come up against another tank deck, the Pekka just takes out the Golem or the Giant super quick.
Yeah, it's an anti meta deck where a lot of people are running all of these like giant Electro Wizard Executioner decks.
Hmm.
So I would say keep the Executioner too. It is too meta right now. It's too good.
Yeah.
This can change once the whole bug fixes go through and we see the level Executioner. But right now, unless you're really experienced without the Executioner,
Hmm.
keep this card in your deck.
One thing of note is it's level 3 at the moment.
I think that's fine. I think that's fine.
Yeah, no, it's still strong, but I think it dies to lightning.
It I I think max. I'm in a level 4 like a if we're talking about tourny cap, lightning
Yeah.
doesn't kill a level 3. A level 3. What's it called? Executioner.
Yeah, you're correct. You're correct.
It doesn't. It's very close, but it doesn't. So
Yeah,
it's
I
not
think
that bad.
Executioner lives with about 50 or 40 or 50 health.
Yeah, it just sucks that when you see another execution and they go 1-on-1, yours will lose.
Yeah, but it's not really its stats that are so good. It's all the different effects its swing does.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's ground and air, is pseudo tanky, can be staggered, is
Yeah.
is great at canceling animation attacks. Yeah, this card is OP.
Hmm.
I would say that we can come back to the bowler.
Yeah, Bowler's just it beats Executioner 1-on-1. It doesn't die to lightning. That's really the only reason it's in there.
Yeah, I would say like we can come back to the Electro Wizard 2.
Hmm.
Like maybe we want it, maybe we want the bowler instead, but I'm
Hmm.
pretty sure that we can change one of these roles here.
All right.
Now I do believe that you want to keep. Well, it depends. So ice like in this meta right now, Ice Golem and Knight are kind of interchangeable.
Yeah, Knight's actually been really annoying in this deck because before double Elixir, I can't really get a Pekka down, so it's usually just Executioner or Bowler getting some chip damage on a counterattack, and
Uh-huh.
Knight stops them pretty quickly.
Yeah. So I mean, how do I say it? If you have the Knight instead of the Ice Golem, what it gives you is the ability to. I mean, it's a mini tank, right?
Hmm.
Can deal damage and it survives lightning and it survives rocket.
It does survive Rocket, huh?
Yeah. So that can this is a way for you to have like a counter 2 miner and still
Yeah.
be able to protect whatever you're trying to push with. You know?
Yeah, I never considered that with the miner.
Yeah, the other slot that you can do here is like sort of, but we might put cards in for something else if the deck kind of looks like it needs it. But right now, I would say Ice Golem Knight. So this slot belongs to the mini tank slot. So you want to keep this slot. Right?
All right.
Uh, we've. I just say that Log is better than Zap. I don't think you need Zap in this meta. I don't really see Zap working because like there are too many circumstances where Zap becomes bad, and you don't ever want to put if you're gonna be facing like uh potentially like with 13 people in a row with all different decks or somewhat different decks. There's gonna be variations of the decks where like Zap doesn't work, but like almost
Yeah.
every single time Log does its job.
Yeah. And if I keep Ice Golem overnight, that means my because all my troops are so big, if they just play a Princess at the River, I have to commit at least 4 Elixir to take it out.
Exactly, yeah. Like Ice Golem Zap doesn't feel good.
Hmm.
Really uncomfortable. I mean that was standing. I think the Log is just it's probably probably like the best legendary at the moment. If you were to count legendaries, after that would probably be like the miner. Yeah. So
You're not feeling Graveyard anymore?
no, unfortunately, like with I mean, the thing about Graveyard is that I still believe that it's broken. It's just it has a hard counter at the moment, which makes it feel like it's not broken. But the card still, under normal circumstances, is broken because of the whole RNG. You don't want RNG in a game where everything else has been figured out.
Hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I say this already, but if you were to run a simulation of graveyard on a like a level 1 graveyard on a not level 9 tower, right?
Yeah.
Run it like 50 times, you're gonna get about 50 different results. That's really disgusting if you think about it. That's not good. So let's go ahead and we can for sure put in the log here. Now we come to tornado. Um, tornado at the moment. A lot of people like how do I put this? My minor deck. I have a minor tornado deck, executioner that I use, but I've started to find that it lacks. Tornado is what tornado is good for is
It's very versatile.
yeah, it's a versatile defensive spell.
Hmm.
But also, the only way Tornado thrives is when it is being used in a triple spell deck. One of the reasons
So you can
why,
still chip out.
yes, exactly. One of the reasons why Tornado is really bad is because it just doesn't do damage to towers.
Yeah.
Right? It has
And Elixir Collector. That's a big threat to my deck at the moment.
exactly. All right, I'm gonna share the screen with you. Okay, so you're gonna see my screen, and
Mm.
then I'll go ahead and like draw this. Here, can you see it?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. So Tornado, right?
Mm-hmm.
Has so many defensive uses. You can pull it to King Tower. You can pull units to King Tower. You can pull units like pull units back, pull units for the executioner to kill, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah,
Um,
I can pull
yeah,
if they try to hide something behind the crown tower, like a musketeer or executioner. I can pull it out to the Pekka and have it kill it.
exactly. Like if this is a crown tower, they pull a musketeer here. They put like a an ice golem here, and you have an executioner here. You just tornado like this, and the
Yeah.
executioner takes it all out with the tower.
Mm-hmm.
So tornado, well, the assumption that we come to is that super good on defense, really really versatile, but it has no damage. It has no damage. So what we see right now is people are comboing tornado with log plus lightning. That is the biggest combination that we're seeing, or we're seeing like log and rocket. Log rocket. But
Do you see Fireball as one of the third spells?
right now, no.
No.
Can you think about why fireball would not be good here?
Um. Well, it does enough tower damage, but it does Fireball and Log take out a executioner?
No,
All right,
no,
so that's definitely a big thing against it.
no.
I mean, fire outside of that, Fireball's still a good card.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that
But the
might really be
meta,
the only thing keeping it out.
yeah, the meta is becoming more tankier in general. With
Hmm.
the some bowlers like finding its way in. Electro Wizard still die to fireball log, but the meta
Yeah.
is not centered around the Electro Wizard.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's definitely the executioner that is pushing fireball out of the meta right now. Lightning log takes it out. Rocket takes it out by itself.
Yeah.
Right. You can definitely punish units here, and on top of that, if in a meta where these spells are strong, uh, I think tornado also becomes strong
Hmm.
because
Is
uh,
is Furnace going out of the meta?
yeah, I think so. The thing about Furnace is that if a player is skilled or adept enough, you won't ever take damage from a Furnace, and then someone can lightning it, lightning that plus a unit, lightning something. You know, they
Yeah.
can force something out of it. Furnace just sort of feels right now all right in some decks, namely RG, namely um, that spellbait, mirror spellbait.
Yeah.
So I would sort of advise against Furnace unless you're playing those decks where you just want to sit back and wait for an opponent to go into you. But yeah, I haven't seen Furnace do quite well right now because the even though the meta is chip, you would think that with Mono Rocket, like why aren't you running Furnace? Well, Mono Rocket already does way more damage than the Furnace could ever do with one rocket onto a tower. If you think about it, a tower is like 2,500 in a game, right?
Yeah.
One lone miner can take out 500 HP of that. That's already that means you have to just do that miner 4 more times. That's a miner. A rocket will do 500 tower damage one go.
Hmm.
You only have to do that like 4 times after one successful miner. Not even.
Yeah.
Assuming that you get even more chip damage, that's like 3 times. It's not a lot.
Hmm.
So, what does the furnace damage come down to it? Well, the furnace damage it does a lot if one fire spear connects, but what happens if they never connect? What happens if you take damage because you have a furnace there? And And then when you lose that furnace, then you lose that ability to defend.
So do you see me putting a 6 elixir spell into this deck?
I do. I do. I might even recommend that you take out Tornado if you decide to keep a lot of your other cards in. I mean, but we're gonna have to get to that point.
Yeah.
So, so with the tornado, we can think on this tornado. Like, remember, if we run this tornado, it probably means that we cannot run a defense. You see why?
You mean take out Tombstone?
Yeah, I mean, like, uh, if we were to add in lightning, log, tornado, the trifecta of spells that are really good right now
Yeah.
with this executioner, then we probably can't keep Tombstone because Tombstone, like,
I just wouldn't have enough troops at that point.
yeah, you wouldn't have one like enough troops. Two, it would just spread your deck too thin.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be relying on spells like kind of way too much, and if you don't have the spells, I think you just get punished really hard. So I mean,
What do you think about Tombstone right now? What are good defensive buildings right now?
the best defensive buildings in the game right now are Cannon, Inferno, Tombstone.
Mm.
Let me see. Is there anything else? Maybe something is skipping my mind.
Uh-huh.
Tesla's not good. Furnace is not good. Bomb Tower is good. Contrary to what people will tell you. Alright, yep. It's those three. Tombstone and Cannon are something alike. I feel like Cannon is overall better at the moment. But it really comes down to how you play it. If you play cannons up front, if you play cannons before the tank crosses the bridge, then you're probably playing cannon wrong. But with the Tombstone, there's more leeway for fault because it's a spawner, and fireball's out of the meta, so your Tombstones aren't automatically taken off the board. But, yeah. I mean,
unless I play a troop down, they're not gonna lightning it out.
exactly. Like, if do you really like this Tombstone? Do you really want a defensive building here?
It was in there because it was in the battle ram challenge.
That's interesting. I mean, if I would say if you want this Tombstone, then you probably take out Tornado for lightning. If you don't want this Tombstone, you can take out Tombstone for lightning. But I think that's where this slot kind of comes in, and then we come back up to like these two.
Well, if I take out,
yeah.
So let's say we take out Tombstone for lightning, and we took out Bowler for something else. What am I doing against Hog? I just Tornado is the answer.
Yeah, I mean, we take a look at it. Right now, Hog is not that strong, and if you bring Hog toward the King Tower, that would be iffy. If you have an Electro Wizard, if you have like an Executioner, like these cards do stop Hog Rider pretty handily.
I heard that if you play Executioner right, because of the knockback, Hog only gets one swing off. Is that true?
Yeah, it's true. I have not seen the video of, I believe it was OJ. He said the interaction. I like, even though I should, I don't watch nearly enough. Yeah, I mean, you can go look for it, and you'll probably find where you can place the execution to get one hit. But I think it's very particular.
Yeah, because I heard that, I would go try it, and the Hog got like 4 swings off.
I think if you do it not even like perfectly, Executioner can stop the Hog with 2 hits. Yeah, just like kind of like the Bowler. If you play a Bowler in front of a tower, just a naked Bowler, nothing happens.
Yeah, it really stops Hog.
The Hog, it does stop the Hog, but the Hog still gets 2 hits. It's up to like the players themselves to like mess with that interaction to get more. Like, will that player zap the tower to get the 3rd hit? Will the Bowler player drop a log so that the Hog doesn't get any hits? You know? Yeah, it's down to the player's interaction. But if you just have those 2 cards itself, there's already a set interaction there if you play the game enough to know like what does this hog get?
Mm.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I coined it, but I call it expected value. Yeah, it's like if a bowler walks up to an executioner, the bowler lives with a little bit of HP.
Mm-hmm.
If another player overcommits to killing off the bowler, then the execution does live, but is it worth it? Probably not. It depends on like how you counterattack. But yeah, let's get back to the talk here. So, do you want Tombstone or not? Tombstone gives you the ability, like, all right. So let's say you don't have Tombstone. You have Lightning here. Well, you have Tornado. You have Electro Wizard. If you want to keep it, you might have a Knight. You definitely know you have an Execution. You definitely have a Pekka. So like this already solves you for big tanks. Then your deck has to deal with small stuff, right?
Yeah.
If you keep enough small stuff with Tornado, like does that thing ever get to your tower? Probably not.
Mm-hmm.
If you tornado miners correctly, you can set up King Tower. Tornado Hog at the right time, set up King. You can
There.
even
Correct me if I'm wrong. There's a minor placement that you can never tornado it to the king tower.
yeah, it's at the front of the tower and away from the King Tower.
Mm-hmm.
But if you see a player doing that, it's because they're very wary of tornado, and you can start just predicting that spot.
But if I do predict it, don't they just hit me with rocket?
Oh, you're talking about like later on into the game. Um, if you know that it's like 1 minute and your tower is really low, and you're in like a race against Miner Rocket, you probably don't want to be playing stuff into the miner. You want to wait, like you want to wait to watch the miner go to your tower, and if they don't play anything, then you drop on top. If you play it too early, then the rocket always gets value. You don't ever want to be playing into the miner rocket. Uh, it gets a ton of value when the miner rocket clears the defense. If it doesn't clear a defense, you can still minimize the damage as much as possible. I mean, if you think about it, if you play into Miner Rocket, that miner gets probably around 800 plus damage. If you don't play into it and you let only the rocket hit your tower, at most the miner will do around 550, 600.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just about playing correctly toward it.
Yeah, I think we can take Tombstone out for lightning.
I mean, I would say like just try it, like mess around the deck a little.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have lightning, log, tornado. Let's walk up back to the bowler and electro wizard.
Yeah.
So
two very very good defensive cards.
Oh yeah, two very great defensive cards. I've been seeing a lot more executioner plus bowler combos. Bowler is definitely super good as a way to be like a lightning rod and still not dying. You know, have like this huge push. I can see Pekka bowler being kind of fearsome. Thing about that though is like you kind of do need the anti-air for the Pekka. Let's say if you have
that's
Pekka,
why executioner is super important to have behind it.
Yeah, so you would need like the pushes to kind of go through. How do you feel about this bowler here? I would say, I mean, yeah. Let's just talk about the bowler itself. How do you feel about the bowler?
It's I mean, I don't want to be weak to lightning, so I mean that's an answer there, and I don't want to be weak to executioner, so that's really its big strong points. But I mean, what would you think of a replacement card for it?
It depends on like kind of if you want to keep Electro Wizard also. And it also kind of depends on the Ice Golem and Knight thing interaction over there. So, if you kept the deck list as it is, right? You have Pekka, Executioner, Bowler, Electro Wizard. Rocket, Lightning would mess your entire deck up. Well, especially Lightning. You have too many Lightning targets in your deck, especially when your Pekka's walking up. Just like, alright, imagine this feeling right now. Pekka is played at the Pekka is like at the bridge. You drop Executioner. You have an Electro Wizard behind it because you just defended.
Yeah.
They lightning log you, and what do you have left?
I've got a like half health Pekka.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a good feeling.
Uh-huh.
And I think it leaves you too open there.
I know it gives me a card weak to log, but what do you think about Dark Goblin?
That's interesting. So when you run a card like Dark Goblin, uh, I don't really have to illustrate. Kind of easy to put, but I would feel people get bored when they're watching this. They're not the ones participating in the
Yeah,
thoughts.
yeah.
But when you run a card like Dark Goblin, when you run a card like Princess, when you run a card like Skarmy, Goblin Barrel, right? Like, what is the similar? Oh yeah, what is it? What is the tie they all share?
They all died a log.
Right? They're all baits for log,
Yeah.
right? Um,
But if it's the only bait card in my deck, then it just kind of
gets log.
it just makes log live
Yeah,
against me.
exactly, and it always gets value because log is always two. What does that mean then? If you understand that?
It means that since log's the most used spell, huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So currently against my deck, it doesn't get value unless it's used in conjunction with lightning. But if I use Dark Goblin, then they can just always save their log for that.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess
How do you get around that?
well, if I with the deck list right now, if I somehow forced log out against Dark Goblin, then my Executioner wouldn't die to lightning log at that point.
It wouldn't, but it would still
Yeah.
probably die anyways. I think lightning log is the easy way out, but you could definitely play around it. I would say that if you want to add a Dark Goblin, if you want to add any of these cards, they have a symbiotic relationship. If you take one, you have to take another.
So I would add in Skarmy or Princess with it.
Something like that. But does your deck fit that? Can your deck run that? Can your deck run Dark Goblin and Skarmy, let's say?
I mean, we could take out Boulder Electro Wizard, but
then your defensive capabilities go.
Uh-huh.
And it's not like Dark Goblin really helps your Pekka too much. I feel like Dark Goblin is much better in Psycho deck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dark Goblin more there, or you see Dark Goblin in bait decks like this. So I would say that Dark Goblin and Skarmy and Princess and Goblin Barrel don't fit a Pekka deck.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't help the Pekka do what.
Mm-hmm.
Although it'd be interesting to have, I just don't think it has a many. And also understanding that if you only have one Dark Goblin, it'll get logged 10 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
If they figure out that they don't have to hold the log for anything else. I mean, you can run a Pekka Dark Goblin Barrel deck, but then this deck completely changes. You don't need the lightning anymore.
Yeah, then at that point it's not even a defensive deck. It's more aggro, and I'm a big counter pusher is what I like to do.
Okay, yeah, exactly. So it's good. Like when you ask yourself these things, this is just like deck building. There are some cards that go together, some cards that don't, and there are reasons for it, which is why when you do see it and people try it out, it usually doesn't work. So let's. All right. You want to go back to here then? Instead of we'll come back to like the bowler and the electro wizard. Ice golem over knight, or knight over ice golem. The ice golem is 2.
What makes ice golem very unique is that it targets defenses. So it can kite things to the other tower, which knight can't really do because knight will target the troop coming in.
Yep.
But knight, how much more health does knight have?
Oh, let's see. This is my blue stacks.
Mhm.
Let's see. Kind of not good because I don't have the tourney standards up.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine.
Anyone using Knight? Where's Knight? Well, I mean, here's an Ice Golem,
Yeah,
1047. I'm pretty sure a Knight at Tournament standard has a little bit more because it survives lightning.
yeah. And you said it survived rocket.
Yeah, and it definitely survived rock. How much? I know I played against a rock. So rock is 1232.
All right, so knight's probably around 1300.
Yep,
Would be safe to say.
yep. Safe to say that Knight is around
Mhm.
1300 HP,
Mhm.
and it can attack units, so it can defend.
Yeah, yeah. It stops. It stops. Well, so if somebody sent miner to my tower
Mm-hmm.
and I played knight, so the miner locks onto the knight instead of the tower.
Mm-hmm.
If they rocket the knight, does the miner kill it and then hit the tower?
It kills it, but it'll only get maybe one hit on the tower because by the time that the rocket comes in, the combination of the tower, the Knight will take out the miner. That's a really small interaction, but it is good to know. That's a good question. Very very specific.
And ice golem doesn't. Uh, Eventually, it walks away and miner goes back to the tower, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
The way you have to play Ice Golem in such a way that it's like motion of pathing. So like let's say this is the crown tower on the left, right? This is the
Yeah.
king tower, this is the crown tower. If he sends miner here, the way you have to play Ice Golem is you have to play Ice Golem like this. And understand that the Ice Golem will walk into the miner and then push the miner off the tower. Very specific. If they send a miner, like a trick miner over here, it's much harder, and you'll see a lot of people just drop an Ice Golem, and the Ice Golem walk away doing nothing.
Yeah.
Right? If you do play instead a Knight, the Knight will walk over to the miner no matter what, even if you do miss it. I think the biggest thing that comes to mind here, if you do decide, so if you decide to keep Ice Golem, then I think you keep Ice Electro Wizard. Why? Because Electro Wizard is one of the best cards on defense because it can catch everything.
Yeah.
Let's say a miner is played, you drop Electro Wizard. This is early on. Like he's not going to rocket an Electro Wizard early on. You can always catch a miner and redirect it, and it's like the ultimate defense. Behind
Yeah.
a Pekka, this is so strong. If it forces out a lightning, then you can also drop another card like Bowler or something. So Electro Wizard.
Yeah, so that brings me actually to something else I've probably had issues with.
Yeah.
Committing too much to a push after like Electro Wizard defends something.
Oh yeah. Oh okay. So let's say Electro Wizard defends something. You have a Pekka going there or something, right?
Yeah.
Don't drop anything else until you see what their units are, and by the time like a big push is coming at you, you should already know what they have. So if they have a card like Lightning, wait till they use their Lightning, or let your Pekka do its job. If they're not using Lightning, it's like, how do I explain this? So, damn, I keep bringing up League of Legends, but this is like a perfect term for League of Legends. It's like there's a term. This okay. I'm just gonna put this out here. I love LS's videos. You don't know who LS is, but he's like a coach analyst, and he's the one who I kind of mirror my stuff to. But he has this thing called CC as no CC, and I think this applies perfectly here. CC stands for crowd control, like stuns, slows, roots and stuff. And like when a champion walks up, like say there's a champion, like this is champion 1, this is champion 2. When champion 1 walks up to champion 2 and has the option to bind him or like send out like a missile that stops him from moving, right?
Yeah.
Does champion 1 automatically just throw out a stun? Probably not. Like you don't want to do that. You if champion 2 understands like what champion 1 can do, they're going to try and dodge. They're going to go this way, they're going to go this way. So what you do is you wait and you hold your CC until the opportune moment in order to always catch them, right?
Mhm.
Using CC as no CC. I mean, using no CC as CC. My bad. Really difficult to kind of. But just tell me if I'm um, confusing you.
All
So
right.
you're like threatening them the entire time with this ability that you can do. When you attack your opponent, like let's say this is the bridge, you have your Pekka here, you have your Electro Wizard here, and it's walking toward your opponent, right?
Mhm.
If you drop everything, if you drop like your Executioner, if you drop your Bowler,
Mhm.
your opponent looks at that and says, "Oh, he already jumped the gun. I can just lightning all of this and then log it
Mhm.
and then kill off the Pekka or kite it."
Yeah.
Yeah, a smart player will know that this is a threatening push. Will wait to see what this opponent does. If he does nothing, then this push gets value, and then you can just do
Mhm.
another push and keep forcing him to do something about it. And then as soon as like he overreacts because you're not placing anything, like say he just lightnings a peck and E-Wiz, then a skilled player will just drop like their bowler.
Mhm.
They'll drop whatever, and then they'll just go on the offensive
Mhm.
because they didn't respect your ability to just turn the game like that.
What uh what if I have like a an elixir lead, and so like I've got Pekka Electro Wizard. They haven't cast lightning yet, but I hit 10 elixir.
Pekka Electro Wizard, you can just stagger stuff at the back if you really want to, or you can just I mean
I
I'm
don't
sure.
really have a stagger card in the current deck list
Oh, I
outside of
mean
like Knight.
yeah, you could just drop at the back. That's totally fine. Or
Mhm.
I'm going to say that you'll probably have like a spell that you want to use. You're probably gonna want tornado, log, lightning.
Mhm.
I doubt that if you have a Pekka and a Electro Wizard at the bridge that you're going to be sitting at 10.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean that's kind of what you do there. You don't play into your opponent. You don't give your opponent value. That's why when I see people just get greedy, they'll it looks the same every time you see it. People get greedy, they keep dropping stuff, and then they give value to you. That's where the whole like, oh, value emotes come in because they see something, they see like the win. They drop barbs, they drop all this stuff, and then someone just fireballs it. And it's like, well, you didn't keep track of your opponent's cycle. You played into them, you gave them value.
Mhm.
You didn't respect it. You didn't use the fact that they have to deal with this push first and then deal with another one later. You just you put essentially all of your eggs into one basket, and then
Mhm.
they just steal the basket away from you and run away. So don't do that.
Mhm. I don't know if this is necessarily an issue,
Mm-hmm.
but if you look at the current deck list, uh, there's a lot of hands where I can't play until the opponent plays first. Because like, if I try to put Pekka, Executioner, Bowler like behind my King Tower,
Yeah.
then I'm
Oh,
down
you don't ever
five.
want to be playing like big tanks
Yeah,
like
yeah, not
Pekka.
Pekka, but like if I can't invest Executioner or Bowler behind my King Tower to start,
Uh huh.
because then they have 10 Elixir and I'm down 5, so they can push the other lane if they wanted.
Yeah. There are a few ways to go around that. You don't have to use Bowler slash Executioner. You can drop Electro Wizard. You
Mm-hmm.
can drop Knight slash Ice Golem. That's totally okay because your deck is super defensive. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure that if anything is thrown at it, you can always come back.
Yeah.
If yeah, just make sure you don't play Pekka. Uh, if you do lightning, make sure that you have cards like Tornado, Log, Executioner in your hand, Bowler. Like even if you lightning, you have a lot of ways of defending.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, let's kind of get back to this. So I mean, I would say that you want to keep Electro Wizard if you keep Ice Golem
Mm-hmm.
because Electro Wizard kind of shores up the defense that the Ice Golem kind of doesn't give you on your time. If you keep Knight, then you can probably take out the Electro Wizard for something, or you can keep Knight and Electro Wizard and replace the Bowler with something that's cheaper and gives you an ability to stagger or something to help your Pekka.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's where your deck kind of is going toward. Um,
If we replace Bowler, would it need to be a card that is not a lightning target?
Probably yes.
So like minions.
Minions would make your deck cheaper. I mean, your two lightning targets are going to be Executioner or Electro Wizard, but you
Mhm.
shouldn't be playing them near each other anyways. If you
Yeah.
do, it's probably circumstantial, but minions are interesting. Let's take a look at what the minions. Oh my bad. Let's take a look at what like what the minions would kind of look like here. Hmm. So, what do minions do for you? Well, they give you anti-air. You do have enough anti-air, I think. One, two,
Yeah,
three.
yeah.
This is more
Especially
than enough.
especially with tornado. That's why tornado's
Yeah,
really nice.
I think this is more than enough anti-air. I think that with the minions here too, they're
Mhm.
cheap, but I don't think they're gonna have a much impact with the Pekka. And
Mhm.
this card is mainly used for its ability to be a cheap like defensive graveyard option.
Yeah, yeah.
But
But I've already got executioner
yeah, Electro
and Ice
Wizard
Golem and Electro Wizard.
and Log. Like if you
Yeah.
just make sure to place your units correctly. Like, if you place Executioner,
Mhm.
do you know where to place Executioners to stop graveyards?
Um, I don't, but if I had to guess, well, where is the graveyard? Is it be like behind or in front of the crown tower?
Let's say like behind left tower.
Uh-huh.
I'm just gonna show you right now.
Yeah. I would put it. Oh, I wasn't gonna say there. Oh, that's right.
Right,
It's got the 360. It's got the 360
yeah,
splash.
right
Yeah.
here. You want to be
Uh,
placing it in one of these two tiles. Don't place
mm-hmm,
it here. Don't place it here. Don't place it here. Place it right here.
mm-hmm.
Graveyard, if played on it, will get at max maybe 100 damage. It's disgusting
Uh-huh.
because of it's 360.
Yeah. Um. So
So,
what if?
mm-hmm,
Okay. Let's say I have what was there? Boulder. So they play graveyard, and I drop executioner, and they freeze it.
mm-hmm,
If I don't have Electro Wizard in my hand,
log.
am I just looking to log it?
Yeah, just log it. You have to be very wary. Like this is why I say that you want to be playing with sound on. I typically don't play sound because when I stream, it really does get in the way. But for
Mhm.
you, there should be no reason to not have sound on. When you hear the free sound, log it. Just log it
Yeah.
or drop Electro Wizard. Or if shit really hits the fan, just tornado it into a corner.
How many skeletons should be out before I log it?
Uh, depends on whether or not you have something already tanking it. But I would say maybe like just enough that it looks like it'll
Mhm.
surround your tower.
All right.
That's approximate. I'm actually taking a look at your deck right now, and I see a beautiful slot for this minions, and I think you're gonna love this slot. Can you
A
guess
card to
what?
put in.
Yeah, can you guess what I'm looking at?
Can you go back to the deck list?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. For anybody watching too, I'm sure someone's gonna figure it out. There's a
Let's see. A
perfect
good.
slot here. I think that you'll love.
I think it's not. I think it's not going to be archers because I've already got enough anti-air.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Keep reasoning through all your picks.
Uh huh. It'll probably. Well, I know it'll be 4 elixir or less because we want the deck to be cheaper.
Doesn't have to be.
Is it more?
Yeah, maybe. I mean,
Uh,
if you think about it, your deck is only 4.0 for a Pekka
yeah,
deck. It's a really defensive Pekka deck too.
yeah. Yeah. I don't think
You
maybe
don't see it?
I don't. No, I don't think I can figure it out. Uh, let's see. So if I have elixir collector, hmm.
If you wanted
I'm
to
trying.
take out Tornado
Yeah.
for a defensive building, you actually could. But I would say this deck is really well rounded. This is just a really well rounded Pekka deck.
Uh-huh. So okay, all right. So I'm trying to reason through why you want the elixir collector. Obviously, it's a push deck, so that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
You
it
keep
gives
going, keep
me
going.
it gives me a great starting card.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I've got very defensive cards, I don't have to worry about being punished that much.
Mm-hmm. You have very
Um,
great defensive cards with Electro
yeah, yeah.
Wizard, Tornado, Executioner. Yep, keep going.
And
Almost
if
there.
it's kind of more into the game, like I know what tower they're going for, I can just play Elixir Collector on the other side, and they have to either choose to lightning out that
Mm-hmm.
or lightning my Electro Wizard or Executioner.
Exactly. This puts a choice on them. It's exactly the same concept as
Hmm.
Dark Goblin. See it? So like
Yeah.
let's say they fuck with your elixir collector. You
Hmm.
have a Pekka push already going. You know that their lightning is out of cycle. If
Hmm.
they do decide to even lightning there on your next push, this next pump is free. Because
Yeah.
you're just gonna sit back. If you understand the flow of the game, you pump up, and then you just
Hmm.
kill them on the next push because they overextended by lightning twice.
Hmm.
Yeah, and this is such a deadly push with the tornado, with the lightning, with the executioner. That's gonna take a ton of people off guard. Well,
Hmm.
your Electro Wizard is your ultimate defense in terms of holding for your Elixir Collector too. Because if they send a miner to you, just drop Electro Wizard. If they
Yeah.
send lightning on it, then you just start a push. Um, yeah,
Now,
like
what if they're minor lightning? Because then I don't want to play Electro Wizard to stop the minor.
they send out miner lightning.
Uh huh.
You're probably just going to have to tornado it to a tower. Like it depends on where they send it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that is very scary, and it's something that a lot of top players will do. Like if I take this deck over here, and someone
Hmm.
puts like say an elixir collector in the middle, the way I do it, I send a miner to the tower, and I send a rocket. Like all right, so let's say a pump is right here, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I send the miner here. I
Hmm.
will 10 out of 10 rocket like this because most players put a unit
Think you're
right
going for the
here.
collector. Yeah.
Exactly, exactly. And but that's really advanced. It's really high level
Hmm.
because it'll catch people off guard. But if nothing happens, you put yourself into a deep hole, and you have to rely on like your mechanical defense. So I mean, you do have other ways to stop it. You do have executioner, which will survive.
Hmm.
But no matter what, you just take the damage to your tower and just put this elixir collector somewhere else.
Do you think I can do you think I can handle cycle decks?
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Yeah.
I do, I do. If you tornado correctly, you can
Hmm.
tornado miners, you can tornado hogs to the tower.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to try in a game, if you want to take this deck and I'll just play like a hog deck.
Hmm.
Let's see. Move this over. Do you want me to make the clan? I'll make a clan. You join, or are you still in a clan for your clan chest or something?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm doing clan chest.
Okay, you're doing clan chest. Do you have me on your friends list?
No, I don't know.
Okay.
It's
Hmm.
not. It's not a big deal.
Okay. Just try and ask someone like in your clan just to help
Mm.
practice with you on the deck, and I'm sure it'll turn out well. I think this
Yeah.
deck is very well rounded. It's just a solid Pekka. It's a solid Pekka pump deck. I think.
I
This.
know they're not in the meta as much,
Mm-hmm.
but
Oh, this is
what's
this by the way beats out Giant Lightning 10 out of 10 times. This is a direct
really
hard
because
counter.
I was with the original deck list when we started, I was having I wouldn't it was probably 50-50 win loss, but I was having trouble with Giant Executioner Lightning in the Battle Ram challenge.
This wins hands
Uh-huh.
down. Like yeah, you shouldn't lose if you
I
play out
just
through the
have
early
to
game.
I think I'm bad at spreading the cards out against Lightning.
Even if he does play Lightning, uh,
Hmm.
yeah, like it depends on like does he lightning log you right away? Because your execution can always still get value with tornado.
Yeah.
And assuming that the game gets to that point, you'll probably just cycle back.
Hmm.
Yep. You can take out tornado for like a like let's say you experiment with the deck. You can go ahead and take out tornado for another unit or another
Musketeer?
building.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, cannon might be nice.
you can also take out elixir collector if you do want, if you feel like it is hindering you too much, and then just add in something else. Like you can put in tornado there if you took it out. Mega minion, no, not maybe not mega minion. something like guards. You know, like just fiddle around with the deck. But when you do make a change, try and logically make sense of it.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's what we did this entire time, and I think you're gonna come to love this. But I mean, that's what we did. We just sat here, talked through the deck, talked through the problems, why the deck comes out looking the way it does, and which is kind of the reason why too. Um, I mean, you saw how much we could talk about this one change of your deck. That's why, like, I say it's so hard to answer people on Twitter, on stream. Just like they give me their deck, and it's like, I take a look at it. I'm like, I could talk about this for a long time, but it's really hard to succinctly just put it into this kind of box. A lot of people expect the deck to just be put into a box,
Yeah.
and it just doesn't work like that.
So what was our thoughts on Knight versus Ice Golem?
If you run Knight here, it gives you another attacking troop. If you do want that, which is actually totally fine. You probably actually need it.
Yeah, because I don't have a cheap attacking troop.
Yeah, actually try the Knight. I forgot about that.
Mm-hmm.
Forgot that we didn't finish that discussion. Yeah, try this out. If you don't like the Knight, you can try out Ice Golem. You know where the spots are. You know what slots have which different cards.
Now let's say I get a pretty successful Pekka push off, and it's like let's say it's 0-0, and I can take their tower out with 2 lightnings. Do I still need to be pushing with Pekka to force them to play cards into my lightning?
You play in those positions like is your opponent crown towers. His tower is like maybe down to here. Your towers are full. Your position in this game is to defend and to trade Elixir. So what defense, like what solid defense looks like is you like depending on your deck. If you're a really heavy deck, when you trade Elixir, you want your cards to be trading up on your opponent, right? Have you ever played StarCraft?
Nah.
Let's see. What are their analogies? I mean, it's a.
I'm sure you can come up with a Clash Royale one.
It's basically. I mean, it's the same thing. It's like when you play an executioner, you expect the executioner to take out minions, right?
Yeah.
Because you put more elixir into this executioner. In a heavy Pekka deck, your cards are going to be worth more than the cards that are found in a Hog Rider cycle. So if you're trading the way you want to be trading up on Elixir, you want to be trading your cards, but getting more out of him than he gets out of you. He'll win if he gets more out of his cheap cards against your high cards. That's where skills like pulling and baiting and all that kind of stuff comes into play. But when you're ahead like this, all you're looking to do is defend and trade Elixir. You're not playing Pekkas at the bridge when you're ahead. You're playing opportunistic Pekkas. So let's say this like the board resets. You drop a pump down here, right? This is a pump.
Yeah.
He attacks you, you defend. Then like you can drop a Pekka down here, let it walk up. And what does this Pekka do? This Pekka is here to buy time. And to trade.
Yeah, because they can't push down that lane because Pekka's there. Exactly.
So all you're doing right now is buying time so that the timer over here slowly hits 0. And then in the meanwhile, you're finding time in these Pekka pushes to just lightning like normal, right? It's not like he can stop your lightning because you're ahead. And then
am I only doing that if I can hit a troop?
Yeah, probably. I mean, you're not lightning a tower alone until it's like a finishing blow.
Yeah.
But no matter what, they're going to play something if they're sending a Pekka there. It has that much pressure. It's not like a hog where they just drop a tombstone. But yeah, so I mean that's how you defend. You're buying time so that you can just kill them. Pekka, like, why do you have to overkill with Pekka when there's always a chance that you give up the game, or the chance that you make a mistake, they come back and then they take your tower. That's a terrible feeling. But you just want to defend if you have a lead like that. If you're
Now,
behind, it's a different story because if you're behind, then you're going to be trying your best to outplay them and get your Pekka to their tower.
uh-huh.
It's not a question of like, oh, if the Pekka got to the tower, they keep the tower. The Pekka gets to the tower, the Pekka takes the tower.
Mm-hmm.
So the game becomes like how do you escort your Pekka in a way where it gets to the tower, and that's like where the beauty of the game kind of is,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like it's not exactly oh someone just does like this hog push. It's about how does this hog connect to the tower? What did this player do that other players don't to get this hog to the tower? When you watch really great hog players like now play on the top of the ladder, you see that his hog does shit that other hogs do not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you can make that of what you will, but yeah, that's that. I think that's how you want to be approaching it if you're ahead with that.
Now I've got kind of two questions.
Mm-hmm.
The only you said fireball's going out the meta, but let's say I am facing a fireball deck.
Yep.
The only thing they would really fireball is the elixir pump and
Yep.
maybe electro wizard.
Mm-hmm.
But so if if they keep fireballing my pump over and over again, is that a trade I'm okay with?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Absolutely, trade you're okay with. They're follow battling your pump. Your pump still makes like two elixir.
Yeah.
It's either two or three, but that's still a lot considering that pump makes around seven. I'm not sure, something like that.
It makes 8
Okay.
ever since it went to 6. Yeah.
Okay, so it makes eight. I think it probably gives you three then, or dying. I know poison gives you two, but
Mhm.
so you still make your value. You just take damage to a tower, and 200 damage is not too much for a spell. Like taking a rocket to the tower is painful, but taking a fireball is something that can be taken over and over again. And you can also switch sides to your towers.
Yeah, yeah.
But the difference here is that he's always trading his clear spell, his AoE clear spell, to keep you in check.
Mm-hmm.
The one time that he doesn't keep you in check, uh, by fireballing your pump, you get like this huge push. You get a huge elixir lead because
Mm-hmm.
as soon as you build a push where he has to fireball it, then the next pump is free, or vice versa. Kind of get me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you touched on this in your. I just watched your last coaching video today.
Uh huh.
Would you say the reason I'm running pump is because I get an elixir advantage or because I get more control over the momentum of the game?
I think that it's more the latter. It's
Mm-hmm.
definitely more the latter. When you have a pump, it acts as a bait for your other cards to be safe,
Mm-hmm.
aka Electro Wizard, Knight Executioner.
Mm-hmm.
Very like you don't want them to be lightninged all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, it does give you a way to open up very safely, and it gives you a way to build pushes without being starved. I'm sure when you
Mm-hmm.
play Pekka, there's a lot of times where you're just sitting at zero and you're waiting for something to happen. Not a good
Mm-hmm.
feeling. But if you have more control over game, um, there are less chances for you to no, there are more chances for you to make mistakes, but you have the ability to go back and be like, all right, yeah, this is my mistake. I messed up here. Blah blah blah
Mm-hmm.
blah blah blah. Right? I think when you're in control of the game, it's a lot easier to improve.
Mm-hmm. Uh, sh- should I be playing Elixir Collector like can I play it right when I hit 6 if they're like a slow push deck?
You never. Uh, let's see. That's a
Like if it's
really
like a Lava
specific.
Hound deck, and I know they can't really
Yeah.
punish me.
That's
Hmm.
fine. So let's say you know that the Lava Hound's out of cycle. You know that that deck can't really stop you
Hmm.
if you put the Elixir Collector down. I think that's one of the only situations where you put down a 6 Elixir
Hmm.
pump. Because otherwise you'll just die. This card is really risky nowadays unless you're hitting 9, 10 Elixir, and on top of that you have to have solid defense, which this deck definitely has. Just Yeah, like you usually play those kind of elixir collectors when you're taking a risk. If there's no reason to take the risk, I wouldn't take the risk.
Hmm.
But if you are really tracking their cycle, like as well as possible, and you
Hmm.
know that their win condition is out of their hand, and all they can do is like drop a tombstone as a response, this is the perfect card to play it.
Hmm.
Even then,
Um,
I'd probably wait till like 8 or something, close
yeah.
to that, to just have like a log or whatever, or
Hmm.
a tornado when if you need it.
Now, in some grand challenges with this deck, um, I've gotten to. I don't know if this is the correct play, but it has won me the game. Um, when I'm coming up on like my final push,
Yeah.
I just keep playing Pekka, Bowler, Executioner, Electro Wizard at the bridge just over and over again, and they can't kill off the troops already there quick enough, so they just keep building up.
If that is the right move,
Hmm.
if you understand that, it comes back to like trading up on units. If they're dropping shit onto your cost efficient units and they're just killing them over and over again,
Hmm.
totally fine with just dropping them as your elixir allows because they can't keep up with it.
Yeah.
But in the case that that doesn't happen, in the case that they're kiting all of your units and they do have the elixir to stop you, that
Hmm.
is one of the worst moves that you can do because it just feeds into your opponent over and over again.
Yeah. So what I'm looking at this deck, and I don't see really what I do if they just like keep kiting the Pekka to the other side with Ice Golem.
They kite it to the other side with. You can drop Electro Wizard. You can tornado everything back in.
Uh huh.
Yeah, or you can just
So like,
lightning. You know, like the Pekka. Very rarely does the Pekka actually reach the tower. The Pekka's kind of more
yeah.
there to put pressure on them.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, the Pekka's like your meat shield, your really big meat shield, and these two cards will probably win you the game more often with lightning. I think
Yeah.
that's what's gonna win you the games. You can always get like beastly tornadoes in front of the tower and just have your Pekka and your executioner go to town.
Yeah. No, I've done. Yeah, I did that a lot.
Yeah, so just play around that and make sure that you don't.
So if they play Ice Golem at the river, that would normally kite Pekka, just tornado it over to the Pekka.
Yeah, yeah, like tornado. You want to place your tornadoes kind of like so. Like let's say the Pekka's here, right? It's walking. He
Yeah.
drops ice golem. Tornado's really big. You want to drop tornado something like this. See where the middle of my cursor is? Where the
Yeah.
middle, yeah, that's where the you want to always imagine that's where everything's gonna get pulled. So if
Hmm.
everything gets pulled here, then all the units like in this pocket doesn't get pulled, but everything here gets pulled. If it gets pulled, then your Pekka will still walk toward the tower. It'll kill off the ice golem. The main goal of that tornado is to redirect your Pekka onto the tower
Yeah.
and to make sure that your executioner gets a clear line of shot, clear line of
Yeah.
fire.
Probably 80% of my damage is Executioner hitting the tower on accident because it's going through a troop.
Yeah, it's a beautiful feeling because the
Hmm.
executioner has like a higher range, higher
Yeah, I
effective
think I
range.
think it's 8 tiles.
Yeah, 5 tiles. This is normal, but it can
Yeah.
go to 8, which is disgusting. By the way, completely
Yeah.
disgusting. Definitely won a few clutch matches for me too.
So if I know it's not big in the meta right now, but if I'm facing a collector Three Musketeer deck,
Yep.
what am I using my lightning on?
You probably so when it comes to that, your deck has so many ways of dealing with Three Musketeers. By the way, like you
Hmm.
never have trouble. I would lightning up until the point where you feel like you want to be holding lightning for Three Musketeers. That moment usually comes when they start dropping Three Musketeers like in front of the King Tower. When they start doing this, then you want to be lightning like that. You want to be
Yeah.
holding lightning. In the other case, you want to be holding down their collectors and getting your collectors up. It's about who gets their collectors up.
Hmm.
Uh, but like, let's say you lightning their tower and then they put an elixir pump. Um, you have so many ways to defend. You can drop executioner one lane with the two musketeers. Then you can drop knight log or knight electro wizard on the lane with the one musketeer. Like no matter what, you shouldn't be dying because your cards are so good against two musketeers.
And I'm placing Executioner in front of the tower to tank.
Probably like you want to stagger the executioner so that it buys enough time that when they meet the two musketeers, he won't be like alone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like if they drop three musketeers at the back, it's not like you're just gonna drop executioner at the bridge and it dies to the tower.
Could I the side with two musketeers? Can I just drop Pekka on top of them when they cross the bridge?
Huh? Wait, I'm sorry. Say that again.
They drop three musketeers in the back.
Yeah.
The side with two musketeers.
Mm-hmm.
They come across the bridge. Can I just drop Pekka on top of them?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Why not? It's not gonna kill the Pekka. The Pekka's one slices musketeers. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like this deck is so solid, and it really depends on your ability to play it. Which is why I think that if you do get super good with this deck, your defensive abilities are gonna go through the roof, and I think you're gonna be super confident against the meta decks.
What?
If you do lose with this, by the way, always look at your replays, and you'll find shit that you could have done much better. You're gonna go back and be like, all right, this pump timing was really bad. Why didn't I punish this lightning? I didn't catch the miner with my Electro Wizard. My tornado was off. My lightning could have come down better. My log didn't hit the Goblin Barrel at the right time. It just keeps going on and on and on. You're never gonna have a perfect game, which is awesome. That's kind of what you want here.
So I guess we can talk good and bad matchups.
Yeah.
Does Executioner and Tornado take out Loon if there's a Lava Hound in front of it?
Yes. Oh my god. It's the hardest counter.
Yeah. All right. So as long as I keep my Executioner in a proper cycle with their Loon, I guess I don't have to worry about that deck too much. And I've got Electro Wizard too.
Oh yeah. You don't lose to Lava Loon. I'll tell you what you guys don't lose to. You don't lose to Lava Loon. You don't lose to Golem. You don't lose to Giant. You don't lose to, let's see. You don't lose to RG if you play this well enough. It's difficult, but once you get going, RG you shouldn't lose. You don't lose to Hog Rider.
What should my response to RG be if I don't have Pekka in hand?
So you don't really need Pekka as the response, but Pekka is definitely a response, right? So let's say you pump, they drop RG. You can drop Electro Wizard and if you can afford it, a log at night, something like that, and it'll hold it off. You will take maybe 5, 6, 7 RG hits, but you'll get a pump out of it.
Yeah.
In that situation, if we're talking about really specific situations, then you can start off a Pekka push, and if you start off a Pekka push, they can't drop RG or else they just lose.
Should I be investing Pekka without a pump up if it's not double elixir?
No, don't. There's no reason to. Are you really going to afford Pekka, Lightning, and a support card? Maybe.
Definitely not.
No, you're not. The game, you're going to be playing the game with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards. Really, and then the priority cards out of these are Elixir Collector, Lightning, Tornado, Electro Wizard, probably. Yeah. You want to be holding this.
What do I lose to?
You do lose.
Play equally well.
If they play well, you do lose to really tricky stuff like Mirrored Goblin Barrel, maybe depending on how well you play your tornadoes, tornado logs, Mirrored Goblin Barrel, Rocket.
I have never tornadoed a Goblin Barrel to the King Tower.
Oh, it's so easy. It's So let's say they throw a normal Goblin Barrel into the tower.
Yeah.
It's the easiest thing in the world.
They always die before they hit. It's
just like this. Just hold it like this. So it comes in. Imagine it's coming like that. So it comes. You tornado like this. They all get brought to the tower and it activates.
On that grass tile?
Yeah.
Or the dirt tile?
Just one tile next to the King Tower. One tile next to the King. Right here. That. And the same way this way, but it's the same thing. The only way that it doesn't bring the Goblin Barrel to the tower is basically the same spot where you put the miner. On the opposite side of the King Tower to the top, left or right. If you see that, if you're tracking the Goblin Barrel and you see it, then you don't tornado that. You have to just But tornadoing log gives you a response to both goblin barrels, plus notwithstanding that you do have an electric. Yeah, so just super solid. You do.
If they're playing mirror, do I want to, and I have tornado and log.
Mm-hmm.
Do I want to tornado the level 9 goblins and log the level 10 ones?
Yeah, you do. You can do it either way.
Mm-hmm.
Just depends on which one you kind of prefer. Sometimes, so the upside of logging a level 9 goblin barrel is that you're pretty sure that they're gonna use their mirror on the next goblin barrel.
Yeah.
If you tornado the goblin barrel, the level 9 one, you take a little bit of damage, but then he's like sitting there unsure, like, do I send a mirror goblin barrel? He still has log in his hand. If he sends a mirror goblin barrel and you log that shit, that's a +2.
Mm-hmm. Is there a scenario like if they have goblin barrel, mirror, but also like tombstone and skeleton army, should I be trying to counter goblin barrel with my troops and save log for offense?
Yeah. If it's like, I mean, you do have the executioner. You can think of the executioner as like a walking log.
Yeah.
But in the case that you want to hold log, yeah, you can defend with tornado, electro wizard, knight.
Mm-hmm.
Just understand that you're going to be taking damage. If you can afford that and you can hold the log, that is very good.
Mm-hmm.
If you it's a reactive, clear on top of your Pekka, because like 10 out of 10 times you're probably just gonna drop the Skarmy like next to the tombstone. You just drop
Mm-hmm.
log and get the same value there.
Mm-hmm. So how easily do you think this? It's double elixir. I've got to pump up. How easily do you think this push is shut down by like your standard, I don't know, giant lightning executioner deck? Because like executioner is so annoying on defense.
I don't think it gets shut down. If you lightning log at the right times, your
Yeah.
Pekka is gonna chew through everything. Your deck is just, think about it like giant is a fast tank pushing deck, right? It's a fast beatdown deck. This is a slow beatdown deck, and on top of that, the Pekka shreds giant because giant cannot trade.
Mm-hmm.
Your deck wins almost every single time if the giant player, like the giant has to outplay you, meaning he has to switch lanes on you, meaning he has to be very careful about the way he uses lightning. If he uses lightning on your collector, then he cannot push into you because he has no way to clear for his giant. If he doesn't lightning your pump, then he can lightning you, yes, but you have a pump up now. You just pump again and kill him on the next push.
Mm-hmm.
You put him into a really difficult place because this deck is a hard counter. You have a lot more ways to do it. The way you do lose is you pump greedily, and then they just take a tower on you, and then they solely defend you over and over and over.
Do I need to worry about overreacting on defense?
I don't think this deck will allow you to, because it doesn't have cards where you feel like it's okay to just drop them all the time.
Yeah, and they all counterattack pretty well.
Yep. Unlike the Hog Rider, where you're just dropping ice spirits and skeletons kind of willy nilly, this deck will punish you if you do it, because you need to conserve as much elixir as possible to do efficient trades with elixir collector, log, lightning, etc., etc.
Mm-hmm.
So it like the deck itself will already help you on that problem.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't, then you're probably just going to start losing a lot.
Yeah.
Which then, if you do know the problem, then you definitely won't.
So when double elixir hits, am I trying to? How do I want to phrase this? Just when do I want to start setting up a Pekka push? Like let them come to me and defend it with like.
When your cycle is good enough, like let's say double elixir happens, and you have a pump up, you have nothing else in your hand, nothing's on the board, just drop a Pekka.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, drop a Pekka at the back, and then you'll have enough elixir to defend a side lane push. When the Pekka walks up, you just
So let's say I drop Pekka and double Elixir, and then they drop Giant Executioner at the bridge on the other side.
That is already kind of Elixir. They
Uh-huh.
most likely cannot Lightning with that. If they drop that, then you can play Electro Wizard, uh, Electro Wizard Knight Tornado. I'm sure that you can afford that. Eventually, you'll be able to afford Tornado, like something along that
Yeah.
line, and you'll be able to defend it.
So play Knight first to distract Executioner.
Yeah, then you can drop like Electro Wizard. Electro Wizard would stop the giant in his tracks while the knight does his damage, and you could when you can afford tornado, you just tornado everything back. If he lightnings all of that, by the time that all of this happens, his push is probably like his giant is almost dead. It's almost dead. You just log it back, and now he has to deal with a Pekka. In that position, you have two choices. You can uh, kill him if you feel like he spent too much elixir on the other side, or you can let this Pekka go and pump up again and then kill him on the next push.
Yeah. Do you have any final thoughts for me?
I think this deck is a really solid deck for players who enjoy uh, playing back and then
Yeah,
capitalizing
I
on an
enjoy them
opponent's.
coming to me.
Yeah, yeah. If you like waiting for your opponent, this deck, epitomizes this. This is a really strong defensive deck, and also has a beastly offense when you can get going.
Yeah.
When you are playing this deck, focus on your defense first and above all else. You can, you'll if your defense is high enough, you'll probably win off of like a mediocre offense. You don't have to have a strong offense. The way I kind of describe it is, it's like macro. In in yeah, like you haven't played StarCraft, but in a game like StarCraft, you have an economy, and in this game, the economy is Elixir Collector. The economy is Elixir, right? If you bank on that Elixir, if you play to that defensive game, uh, and you don't die, right? You'll have so much more shit than your opponent that even if you're fucking up on your offense over and over again, you'll still kill
Yeah.
him, right? This deck isn't like a hog deck where your offense has to be on point, where your fireballs have to be on point. Not that kind of deck. You send a Pekka, you play an Electro Wizard, you lightning everything, you log everything. Good, right? It's solid, just really straightforward. But
Yeah.
the beauty comes when you can get going consistently every game. If you're getting stopped every game from getting started, as in getting your pumps up, as in getting your pushes up, then there's something wrong with your defense. Then it gives you something else to work on. And I think right now this is just a really strong meta deck. So if you want to play Pekka, I would say this is like the Pekka deck to be playing. Something along this kind of line. You can obviously go ahead and change it, but time comes.
Now, I guess we won't really know what the meta is, but when Executioner gets its little bug fix in a month, do you think I would want to take it out of this deck?
We'll see. Depends on how good the Executioner is. When the Executioner is good, I mean, if the Executioner is not good anymore, like really trash or something, you could probably put in something for air. It's gonna have to be something for air. You have to change the night. I don't know, something along those lines.
And Graveyard will come back if it doesn't get nerfed.
Yeah.
All right.
Is that all?
Yeah, I guess so.
How did you enjoy the coaching session?
Oh no, yeah, I've been really looking forward to this, and I couldn't get Mastery GG to work, so I kind of forgot about it. But then I'm friends with the guy you just coached on the Golem Graveyard deck, and he came in and said it was amazing. You've got to do this. You've got to get a session with him.
That's awesome. Yeah, Felipe was awesome. Great.
And what do you think of my little tournament I'm trying to start? Do you remember that?
Yeah. I know you said you could put an overlay. Maybe an overlay, maybe a more succinct, just like here it is. lay
Do you
it
like
out
the
there.
concept though?
Yeah, yeah. No, I like it. I like it.
Uh-huh.
There's a ton of bracket tourneys going on right now, so
Yeah, I noticed that.
it'll be hard to distinguish yours, but I'll try to get it out there. I don't have like the biggest following, but if people want to play in it, then that's a good feeling to have,
Yeah, yeah.
to participate in the community and give something back.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've got to say, let me know if you do know someone, but I have not been able to find any content creator that matches you. No, everyone else is just kind of is just more entertainment based over gameplay based.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any suggestions of some people I could start watching?
There's Mason. I mean, he
Yeah, I do watch Mason. Yeah.
still goes toward the entertainment. Like everybody goes toward the entertainment side because they don't see the point of going as in depth as I, because
Hmm.
maybe it's because they can't communicate as well, or maybe it's because they just don't see it gathering as much views. The thing is, like, I don't one care for the views at the moment.
Hmm.
I'm building up the YouTube channel, just to have it here for you guys right now,
Yeah.
and I enjoy going into like the details, the really nitty gritty, and a lot of people don't feel like doing that.
Hmm.
Um, so in terms of content, I don't think there's another person quite like me. In other games, there are definitely people.
Yeah, yeah.
Like in League, like I said earlier, there's Last Shadow. If you check out his content, it's even
Hmm.
more in depth than me. Even though we both have different speaking styles, it's the same kind of concept. Here, yeah, it's more like, because the game is still very young, the people who do really well with it are like Cheap Hat, Molt. They have like this message like, here's a deck, uh, yeah, like here's a deck. It's a great deck. Play this deck. It'll get you 12 wins. And
Yeah,
that's
no,
kind
yeah.
of,
If you go on YouTube and you search Clash Royale, you will not find any content that will teach you how to play.
yeah, exactly. It's yeah, and I don't particularly like that. I feel like you can watch one Clash Royale video, one Clash Royale YouTuber, and you can watch all of them.
Hmm.
There are obvious exceptions like OJ. OJ put himself there because of his ability to create this like heavily edited, just really well researched content.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole point of trying to find your niche. My niche is just really in depth commentary and just
Hmm.
good gameplay. Um, Different. So I don't know who else to really recommend. Uh, if you can find one, that'd be cool. But all right.
Yeah.
Any more questions? Anything else?
Uh, no, I'll just catch you on your stream in a bit.
All right. There will be yeah. So this VOD will be uploaded to YouTube probably by tomorrow.
Hmm.
And if you ever want to go back and re-watch it, re-listen to it, so you can learn it again, it'll be there for you. Sounds good.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right.
When are you gonna start streaming?
In about 20 minutes, I think I got my sub button. So yeah.
All right.
All right.
All right. Thanks.
Yep. No problem. I'll see you there.
All right. Bye.